Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. There's a lot of people that are still joining. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We have people joining in from all around the world. It is so great to have this opportunity to get to chat with all of you. In case you don't know me, my name is Haley. I am the trainer and business developer from Remax Europe, based in Vienna. You might have noticed I don't have an accent. I'm originally from the United States. New York is where I was born and raised, but now I've relocated to Vienna, and I'm happy to be here in Europe. So happy to be a part of this amazing network and really excited to help you learn a few social media ads that work. You might have also seen me. I help host the other Level Up webinars, so if you joined in on Monday, I was helping Jesse when it came to the Q&A portion, and our other webinar last week with Michael Pulser and Richard Robbins. I was also there in our Remax European convention in Mallorca. I did a few sessions at our convention as well, so you might have caught my session where I did one on how you can leverage social media to grow your business, specifically Instagram. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Today, we're going to be focusing on social media ads that work. And now is a really, really great time to start to add paid advertising into your business. So I'm actually one of those weird people who enjoys social media. I know I'm a bit of a weirdo. You can ask my husband when we're hanging out on the couch in the evenings watching Netflix. One of his biggest pet peeves is when I start checking Instagram when I should be spending quality time with him. But I recognize that not everybody actually enjoys spending time on social media. And that's okay. That's really okay if you don't enjoy it. But, and it's a big but, the reality is that social media is an incredible tool that you can use to grow your business. So whether you love it or hate it, it's here. And it's one of the main ways that we're communicating with each other during COVID-19. I'm working from home. You can maybe tell I'm at a home office. And I know a lot of you are working from home as well. But that does, even though we are practicing social distancing, it does not mean that we're not being social. All of our communication is moving online even faster than it was before. I don't know how many Zoom meetings you're having a day. For me, I'm averaging around 3 a day. But when I'm not on my computer or on Zoom meetings or working on my presentations and training content, I'm checking social media. I'm checking the news. I bet you're doing the same thing. In the beginning, there was a lot of funny memes, especially around the topic of toilet paper, and I don't really want to say any more about toilet paper, but I think you get the point. People are going online to learn about updates about what's going on in their neighborhoods when it comes to COVID, how to stay safe. And if you're a homeowner or someone who's looking to buy, you're also looking for information. How is the value of your house going up or maybe going down? What resources do you have available online to help you right now? So the point is, you've got to show up online, whether you like it or not, and we're going to talk about 2 social media ads that will help you get in front of even more people. So we can go ahead and get started. Let me see if that works. Perfect. Okay, so perfect. Why should you be on social media? In case you need a little reminder, there are a lot of reasons why you need to be on social media. Number 1, you need to stay top of mind. And of course, reach people where they're spending their time. Now more than ever, people are spending time on social media. As I said before, just because we're practicing social distancing does not mean that we're not staying social. So reach people where they're at, stay top of mind so that you're in the perfect position to continue to launch your business after lockdown ends. You want people to be thinking about you when it comes to real estate, if they have any questions about anything real estate related, and if you're posting regularly online, then you're going to be staying top of mind. Point number 2, strategic positioning. Now more than ever, people are looking to local leaders for advice, for guidance, for support. You are your local expert when it comes to everything real estate related. Take advantage of the platform available to you when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, and show people you're there for them. Answer common questions that buyers or sellers may have for your past clients. Maybe they're concerned about the value of their home. For many people, their home is their biggest investment they have. They probably have questions, and you're in the perfect place to position yourself as the go-to person. And of course, grow your database. Now, one of the first things you probably heard, and you heard Michael Polster talk about it, you've heard Richard Robbins talk about it if you tuned in last week. One of the first things that we were doing when we went into lockdown was working our database, getting on the phone, making phone calls. And you can do the same thing when it comes to social media in terms of working your database. Social media offers an incredible opportunity when it comes to not only generating leads, but nurturing leads that you already have. I can't even tell you how many relationships I've built through my Instagram account. I'm friends with people from all over the world through that. And it's the depth of the relationship that actually really surprises me. When COVID-19 started hitting Austria really a lot, and we went into lockdown, I was getting messages from business owners and entrepreneurs that I had met through my Instagram from all over the world asking me how I was doing. And we were in conversations back and forth. So I wouldn't devalue the depth of the relationships that you can actually build on social media. Okay, so I want to bring you valuable content and things that are relevant to you right now. So what can you post during COVID-19? We're in a little bit of extenuating circumstances, and we need to address it. We need to make sure that we're reassuring our network and our audiences online. So I want to give you guys a few tips of things that you can post to make sure you're providing your audiences with valuable content. So first and foremost, market updates. As I said before, people are concerned about how COVID-19 is going to impact their local real estate market. You as an expert are in the perfect position to help people prepare for any changes that are coming up in the market. Answer questions. People are going to have tons of questions when it comes to real estate. They're going to be wondering, can I still view a property? Can I still put my home on the market? What's the value of my property going to be? You as the local real estate expert are in the perfect position to answer those questions, make sure that people in your community feel like you're taking care of them. They are looking for the support and guidance, and you're in the perfect position to help them out with that. And of course, provide value and support. I've been talking a lot about the ways that you can provide value and support when it comes to all things real estate related, but I have been so impressed with seeing how the RE/MAX network on the ground in all of our different regions has been helping out our community, not just when it comes to real estate. So I know a lot of people have been delivering food to elderly people who can't leave their house to go grocery shopping. That's just one example. There are many ways we as real estate agents can help our communities, not just when it comes to real estate, but in times of crisis, just help and provide support and value for your community across the board. So I know I said I would talk about Facebook ads and Instagram ads, so we're going to go ahead. And the main thing that I want you to do is when I'm telling you all of these, all the ways to set up your Facebook ad, is keep an open mind. I know a lot of you were joining in and you watched Jesse's session, and it was great to see how many of you have actually started putting his advice into practice within the past 2 days. I want you to take that mindset and apply it to everything I'm going to be telling you here. My goal is to demystify and the whole Facebook ad and Instagram ad process and show you that it's not as scary or hard as you might think. So I know a lot of you might be asking, is now the time to spend money on paid social media ads? And I want to tell you that's actually the wrong question to be asking. Because actually the question isn't, is now the time? The question is, how much money should I spend on paid ads? I know a lot of people are feeling financially insecure right now, But as I said before in the beginning of my presentation, everybody's eyes are on social media. That means if you put your content out there and back it with a small budget, you will get that many more eyes on your content. You will be positioning yourself and your content to be in the perfect position for when lockdown ends, because this is not going to be forever, right? We need to position our business so that when lockdown's over, we're in the perfect position to just really take off. So the question isn't, is now the right time to spend money? The question is, how much money should I spend? And my colleague, Will, who I was actually talking to this morning, he's the one who manages our social media accounts from Urmex Europe. And he was just telling me this morning that for Facebook business profiles in particular, the organic reach that you have, so if you don't put any money on your posts, you will reach 16% of the people that are following you. That's not very much. If you're going to take the time to create amazing content, I want to make sure that people see it. And Facebook in particular, it's pay to play. Now, you don't have to pay a ton, and we're going to get into how much, but you do need to consider paid advertising, especially when it comes to Facebook, in order to get the most out of the content that you're putting out. So I'm going to walk you through really quickly creating your Facebook ad. It's 22 steps in 22 minutes, and I promise it's not going to be that hard, as hard as you think. So step one, you need to have a Facebook account and you need to have a Facebook business profile. If you don't already have those, make sure you get that set up. I'm not going to go into very much how you want to do that, but it's very easy. There's tons of tutorials on how to set it up. One thing I will mention about your Facebook business profile, make sure you include a call to action so people know how to get in touch with you directly from your Facebook business profile. So once you have all that great stuff set up, you're going to go ahead and log into Facebook as you normally would, and then navigate to the top banner on your screen. There should be a create button. You want to go ahead and click on that, and there's going to be a drop-down menu, and you want to click on Add. You will automatically be redirected to the Ads Manager website. Hope you're following along with me so far. I'm sorry that I just had to say there was a remarkable decrease in sound volume and quality. I'm online, my internet, I don't know if you guys have been experiencing it, but my internet has gone up and down. So I do ask you to bear with me. And when it comes to internet quality, you will be getting a recording of this session. So in case your internet goes down, or God forbid, in case my internet goes down, you will receive a recording of this session, so not to worry. Okay, step 3. I want to make sure you're using the right business profile. I know a lot of you are serial entrepreneurs, meaning you have more than one business, or maybe you've had businesses in the past, and maybe you already set up a Facebook business profile. So make sure that you are posting the ad and using from the business profile that you want, and that you're using the payment plan that you want. So go ahead and make sure that that's all set up. As you see in the example on the screen, there are 2 different accounts. There's one that's personal and there's one that's professional. So we want to go ahead and select the appropriate profile. Now there are actually, you see on the screen, there's a lot of goals that Facebook gives you when it comes to creating your ad. We got to keep it simple. For this ad, we're going to be focusing on lead generation. So you're going to go ahead and click lead gen. Step 5. Now, in our example, we're going to be creating a paid ad to generate buyer leads for a specific property. However, during COVID-19, there might be other topics that are more relevant, such as answering common consumer questions, or providing market updates, or maybe you want to promote a virtual open house that you're doing. I've seen some of you doing virtual open houses, and I want to say congratulations. That is amazing. You are getting creative and going beyond traditional. So the same concept that I'm going to teach you here for this ad can actually be applied to any of your posts, right? So in our example, we're going to be pretending that it's going to be for a specific listing, but you can do it for any of the posts that you want to promote right now. Okay, So we want to create a name for our ad. So you see, I just named the campaign 123 Fake Street. Yes, there will be a PowerPoint presentation sent to you, Sam. I see your question. There's going to be a recording of this session, so everybody will be able to receive it after the fact. So I want you to go ahead, getting back to the ad, I want you to go ahead and then ignore the create a split test and the campaign budget optimization for now. Okay, so when it comes to audience size, so as you can see from our example, the potential reach, if I did not touch anything when it comes to the audience size, would be over 4 million people. Now, if you're new to paid advertising, that might seem great to you, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to reach so many people. But in terms of quality and increasing your conversion rates, more isn't better in this case. You want to hit a happy medium between reaching a large enough number of people that your ad is relevant, but you want to make sure that you're targeted and specific enough that the people who do see your ad, it's going to be relevant for them. So we're going to go ahead and adjust the audience size. And the first thing we're going to do is start to adjust the audience size based on location. So you want to make sure that you're targeting your city or your area specifically. Now, this is important, especially when it comes to creating a paid Facebook ad for a property where you're trying to generate buyer leads. You want to make sure that you're only selecting people that are living in this location. The reason being, Facebook pulls information from your phone wherever, based on geo-tracking, wherever you are. So that means it's not so relevant right now, but if you were visiting Vienna, in our example, then you would get the ad. But you're just a tourist, you're not interested in buying property there, you are just visiting. So you want to make sure that you're selecting people living in this location. Okay, step 9, you have to edit the age range. We're not interested in targeting 16-year-olds because most 16-year-olds can't afford to buy a property. You want to make sure that the age range is appropriate for people who are financially able to purchase or sell a home. And then go ahead and save your audience because that'll just save you time down the road. Step 11, make sure you enable manual placements for your Facebook ad. We want to go ahead and unclick Instagram. The reason is that you want to exclude Instagram is that the focus of this ad is lead generation. Instagram is actually better suited for brand awareness campaigns. So it's up to you. You can absolutely leave Instagram in. However, in order to maximize your spend when it comes to lead generation, I would exclude Instagram specifically for this. Okay, now we're getting to the money. So you want to decide on your daily budget. We recommend €5 per day. If you go much lower than that, you're not going to be seeing the results in terms of the leads generated that you want. But if you go, and of course you can go a lot over if you have a luxury property where your budget is bigger. You can increase the spend per day, but we wouldn't recommend going much under €5 per day. This is also really important. Watch out for the decimal places and make sure to set an end date for your campaign. I've heard stories of people that only wanted to spend $5 a day and ended up spending $500 a day, and they were quite surprised when they got the invoice. So make sure to double check your decimals and that you set an end date for your campaign. Now, when you're thinking about the end date, you want to take into consideration for a campaign for a specific property, you want to take into consideration the average time on market for your properties and how much budget you want to allocate for that property in particular. Okay, after you're done with all that good stuff, you're going to scroll down to the media section and start uploading your images and videos. Obviously, you want to include your best photography, your best videos when it comes to paid ads. You don't want to put images that are not very great of a cluttered apartment, for example. Make sure that you inform your sellers in advance how their property should look before you have your professional photographer come over to take pictures of the property. Buyers don't want to see all of the clutter. They want to be able to imagine themselves in the property. And you'd be surprised, it really, really does make a difference. So if you can educate your sellers on what their responsibility is when it comes to selling their home, and do that right away from the listing presentation. If you set them up and educate them, you'll be in a much better position later on down the road. So in terms of COVID-19, as I said, maybe you're not going to be doing paid advertising on a specific property. So maybe you're going to be creating a market update video, or you're going to be doing a video where you answer common buyer or seller questions. So this will be the place where you would upload those videos. Okay, and you're going to scroll down to the text and link section. Make sure that you edit the primary text, headline, description, and include a link to your listing. When it comes to the call to action, you can include something such as learn more, and then you want to go ahead and create a form. And the form is what is going to be used when you capture the lead contact information. So that part is really important. Perfect. You don't need to type anything in the form type. So you're going to go ahead and just navigate to the intro section, enter in the headline, image, and there you can see on the right part of the screen, you can start to see a preview of what the form would look like for someone who's viewing it. So you want to make sure that you include all of the different property highlights in bullet form, not just a big paragraph, because it's easier for people to digest the information if it's nicely spaced with bullet points. Okay, step 17. So now you want to navigate to the questions section and add a call to action. So in our example, we used, are you interested in learning more? And then you want to go ahead and add a new question in the contact fields, which requires leads to fill in their phone number in order to request more information. Now, here is a pro tip. You can actually adjust the order in which the questions come up. And the reason why I point this out is because if you have a lead enter in their phone number before they enter in their name, it decreases the conversion rate. So you want to go ahead and make sure that in your form, people are entering their name first, then their phone number and their email. Okay, make sure that you include your privacy policy in your ad. So in order to find your regional or office privacy policy, you can just scroll down on your website. It's usually located on the bottom of the websites. Just copy the URL and just paste it right in there. And then you just go ahead and edit the thank you message. Make sure you include a link to your website so that people can view even more pictures of your amazing property. And click save, confirm. And of course, you want to double check your ad for grammar and spelling mistakes. Remember, we're professionals. We don't want to be putting out an ad that has tons of spelling mistakes. So do take the time to go check out your ad. Make sure that everything is looking the way you want it. So now that you have created your ad, you need to find a way to retrieve all of those leads. So ideally, your ad will be generating all these leads, and you want to make sure that you can actually get them. You can call them back, right? So you want to navigate to the Facebook business main page, click on publishing tools. So you see everything that I'm talking about is in the little highlighted in red circles. So head over to the publishing tools, scroll down until you find Forms Library section on the left navigation bar. And this is getting a little technical, but don't worry, we are sending you the presentation afterwards. So if you're not taking notes on every step, don't worry. Then once you start generating leads, they're going to appear in your lead count, which is right over here. And yeah, basically to download the lead contact information, you just go ahead and click on the download button. Now, you can automate this process, and I really would encourage you to do so, because as you see, you need to manually log in and download the contact information if you want to get the lead information. However, there are tools like Zapier, which make it really easy. So it just pulls the information from your Facebook ad, and you can even program it so it just sends you a text message or a WhatsApp every time a lead comes in. And this is really, really valuable when it comes to fast follow-up. Now more than ever, right, if someone sends you a message about a specific property, they want to be called right back immediately. So if you use a simple tool such as Zapier, you can just Google Zapier if you're not familiar with that. But it makes it really, really simple for you to follow up with leads faster. So I just talked a lot about Facebook and the Facebook ads. I do want to give you guys a chance to ask questions. So I'm going to head over to the participants and see. Will, Steph,
Yeah,
do we have any questions?
I've been capturing the questions. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great stuff. I've been taking a couple of questions that come in. I'm just responding to one now, which is pretty good. It says, can you tell me, let me read out. Can you tell me what you get for $5 compared to $10 for example?
Now, $5 compared to $10.
Yeah.
In terms of reach, that is really hard to predict. It all depends on the location and in terms of your audience settings. If you have $10 to spend, I would say go for it.
Yeah,
that would be my recommendation.
But I might add to that as well,
a day would be the minimum. But Will, what would you say?
That with that the correlation is pretty simple. Haley already said it's about reach. So if you're spending $5 a day, you might reach I don't know what it'd be like 6,000 people. But if you spend $10 a day, you reach 12. I mean, I actually just tested that out now myself in our ads manager just to see, and it is exactly that. Taking one of the campaigns that we've already ran for this webinar actually, and that would be the difference. It doubles. And then if you spend 20, it doubles again to 24 and 1,000 people reached. So it is as simple as that. Is that the more you have to spend, the more people you reach. The money side, which is exactly what
we were talking about earlier today. Will, for those of you who don't know, he's our social media manager for Remax Europe. So he's the person behind all of the paid ads when it comes to Remax Europe. And we were talking about that this morning, and exactly like we said this morning, it's pay to play when it comes to Facebook. So the more money you put down, the more people you're going to reach.
There was also another great question about how many days would you recommend for the ad?
Like I said before, it depends on the ad. So for our example, we were using a specific property, and the goal was to generate buyer leads for that property. So let's say your average time on market is 60 days. You might want to consider running the ad for 30 days or for 40 days. You really need to consider time on market. And of course, most importantly, how much money can you spend? You have to take the budget into consideration.
That's absolutely right. And also what I want to add to that is that if you are running a $5 a day campaign, highly recommended. It's a cup of coffee basically a day. And you do need to run it slightly longer, like for a few weeks at least, because the great thing is it's very cost efficient, but you need to run it for 2 or 3 weeks to see any results that you can learn from. Otherwise, it's just not worth it.
Absolutely. All right. Since we are at the halfway mark, I want to make sure that I get to the Instagram ad. So I'm going to head over back to my presentation. We will have more time for Q&A. Thanks so much, Will, for managing all of those questions. So keep writing your questions in the chat and in the question area. Will is doing a great job of keeping track of those for me. And to answer all of your questions, because I'm sure we're getting a lot, There will be a recording of this sent out to you via email, and we will be making a recording available online as well. So I hope that helps answer at least some of the questions. Perfect. So we learned all about our Facebook ad. Now I want to transition over to Instagram. So I am actually personally more of an Instagram person myself. The reason being is because Instagram is an up-and-coming platform when it comes to business promotion in comparison to Facebook, which means there are actually less real estate agents using Instagram at the moment. So that means there's more opportunity for you to stand out. There are absolutely advantages to using each platform. So now that I've said that, don't disregard everything I just said about Facebook. Definitely you want to be present on both platforms. And I will be sharing a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of each platform in another one of my Level Up webinars. Okay, so why should you be on Instagram? In case you're new, Instagram has 1 billion active users. That's a huge audience, and 5 million of which use Instagram on a daily basis, 40% of which are checking multiple times a day. So if you're looking to stand out as a real estate agent on social media and get in front of people who are engaging with content multiple times a day, you should consider getting on Instagram. So what can you post during COVID-19 on Instagram? It's actually the same content that you can consider posting on Facebook. So in case you're just joining, in terms of content that you want to post specifically now during COVID-19, people are feeling unsure of themselves, especially when it comes to their big real estate investments. They want to know how their property prices are doing, and they want to know what's going on in real estate in their area. You are in the perfect position to help support them, provide value, and let them know about what's coming up when it comes to real estate. So market updates, answer their questions. There are tons of buyers and sellers who don't know what to expect when it comes to the sales process. How will the sales process work? If I'm looking to buy a home and I can't leave my house because we're in lockdown and quarantine, how will that work? You know, you as the local real estate expert are in the perfect position to help provide support and value to people in your community. So that's really what it's all about. So now we're gonna breeze through creating your Instagram ad. So successful Instagram ads in 17 seconds. Not seconds, oh goodness, that would be really fast. In 17 steps. So the important thing to remember here is that you are actually going to create an Instagram post as you normally would using your app on your phone. And then that's the post that you're going to be using when you're creating your Instagram ad within the Facebook Ads Manager interface. I'm going to repeat that because maybe it's new for some of you. Instagram and Facebook are part of the same company. So that means the interface that you use to create Instagram ads is the same interface that you use to create Facebook ads. So the great thing is that we already walked through how to create a Facebook ad. You're going to be using the same interface. So you're going to notice a lot of the steps are actually the same. That's why it's actually not that hard. So one of the main reasons why, I just want to take a second here, one of the main reasons why you want to create a post in Instagram, in the Instagram app first, is because if you create an ad on the Facebook interface or Instagram and you set an end date, once the ad finishes running, that Instagram post will disappear. Of course, you don't want that. So if you boost a post that you already created within the Instagram app, after the boost is finished, the content will still stay on your Instagram account. So that's the main reason. And if that was a little confusing, don't worry, I'm going to explain everything right now. So step one, obviously you need to have a Facebook account, a business profile, and an Instagram account. And yes, you have to turn on the professional settings to your Instagram account. It's really easy to do that. You just head over to the settings, click on account, and then switch to professional. There's nothing more to it than that. So you have to get that all set up in order to be able to track and measure, and it only takes a second. So, as I said, you are going to be creating your Instagram ad within the Facebook Ads Manager. So, log into your Facebook business account, click on Create, and click on Add. You're going to be redirected to the Ads Manager website. So again, you want to make sure you're using the right account. So go ahead and select the profile you want to create an ad for. So in general, the goal for your Instagram ad should either be engagement or brand awareness. So of course you can use Instagram to generate leads, but the ads are actually more effective if you focus on either engagement or brand awareness. So just a sidebar about engagement. Why is engagement so important when it comes to Instagram? Well, engagement is actually one of the top metrics that Instagram's algorithm looks at when deciding to push your content to people's feeds. So there is a ton of content being created every single day, and you want to make sure that people see your content. So there's actually a lot to be said for having a smaller but highly engaged Instagram audience and a huge non-engaged audience. So making sure your audience is engaged is a really good thing to have when it comes to Instagram. And that's why it makes sense to put money behind it. All right, so same like in our ad from before, you want to make sure that you name your campaign so you can keep yourself organized. Again, you can go ahead and ignore enabling text or campaign budget optimization for now. Good. Then same like with our other ad, we need to make sure that the audience size is appropriate. Again, if you don't touch anything when it comes to the audience size, more than likely your potential reach will be way too big. In order to increase your conversion rates, you need to make sure that you are having a potential reach that's neither too big or too small. So we're going to go ahead and apply the same strategy to our Instagram ad. And the reason why we want to work with the location is because you are the local real estate expert. You're not the national real estate expert, you're the local one. You want to make sure that everyone in your local community knows who you are and that you're their go-to person when it comes to all things real estate related. So you want to go ahead and narrow down your audience to make sure that it only includes people in your city and people who are living in your city. And again, you want to go ahead and edit the age range. We're not really interested in targeting 16-year-olds, so make sure that your age range is appropriate for people who are interested in buying or selling property. Okay, now here's where it's getting a little bit different from Facebook. So if you were checking out your phone, put your phone down and start to pay attention again. So here you want to make sure that you enable manual placements for your ad, and you want to make sure that Instagram is selected because we're creating an Instagram ad. So again, we're deciding on our daily budget. Same as last time, it's going to be €5. Remember to watch out for the decimal point and to create an end date for your campaign so that you don't end up spending more money than you have. Same thing, you want to make sure that you are selecting the appropriate Facebook business page and also double check that you have selected the right Instagram account. If you have more than one Instagram account you're managing on your phone, you want to make sure that you're setting the right account where you want the ad to show up. If you've never done this before, don't worry. Facebook just walked you through it, so it shouldn't be too complicated. Okay, so step 14. we're going to be using an existing post. Remember I said in the beginning of the Instagram section, we're going to be using an existing post that you've already created and posted on your Instagram account. I hope you all remember the reason why. In case you don't, I'll repeat it. The reason why we're going to be using an existing post is because after the ad boost is finished, because you set an end date, after the ad boost is finished, your content will still remain on your Instagram account. If you create a brand new Instagram post from the ads manager, after the ad is finished running, the post will disappear. We don't want that. So make sure you're using an existing post. So as you see, there are a few Instagram posts. It'll pop up. You just select the one that you want to boost and click continue. Then it's really simple. You just locate the call to action button, select send message so that people will send you a message when they click on your ad, and click confirm. Double check your ad for spelling and grammar mistakes. Remember, we're professional. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to Instagram ads. So I know I just said a lot, but there's 3 things that I want you to remember when it comes to using paid ads in your social media strategy. Number 1, target based on location. Remember, we are local real estate experts. People you want to try to reach, people who are living near and around your area of focus. Facebook, the Facebook Ads Manager makes it really easy for you to target based on location, so take advantage. Check your audience size. Remember when I said before, you don't want to be necessarily targeting 4 million people. You will reach maybe a lot of people, but your conversion rates won't be very high. If you're going to put effort and time and resources into paid advertising, you need to make sure that your audience size is appropriate for your area. And €5 a day is a good place to start. Of course, you can, if you have more budget to spend, you can spend more on an ad, but I really wouldn't recommend going below €5 a day. If you have all of those things down, just go ahead and get started. Track and measure your results, and based on those results, optimize. So see what's working for you and your network, see what's not, and then just make adaptations as you go.
Fantastic.
So that's it. Now I know you're going to be feeling empowered to get out there, start doing some paid social media ads, Facebook and Instagram, and I promise it's not nearly as scary as you might think. So the effort and resources will definitely pay off. If you haven't had a chance to do so, I want you to go ahead and take out your phone and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for future updates, especially when it comes to the Level Up webinar series and on what you can do to stay productive during COVID-19. So now I'm going to hand it over to Will. I'm going to get a drink of water and you can answer some questions.
Okay, great. There was a few in the Q&A which I didn't get around to answering, but I'll hang on in the Q&A and answer as many as I can afterwards if the system allows that. But a few that were talking about some examples of getting leads in a more detailed way, I think, because there was I think I can see how a lot of those techniques are useful for getting leads, but I think for some people they wanted to know, if they wanted to get a listing, for example, this is
so what's the question there?
Yeah, the question is, in which way would you optimize the campaign to be able to generate leads?
For seller leads.
Yes, for example.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So exactly, in the example that we were using, we were doing it to generate buyer leads. However, if you change the content of the post to be something that's more relevant for sellers, such as 5 things you need to do to prepare your home for sale, or showcasing how home value, how values of properties have been going up in your neighborhood. If you apply the same settings, so the same location, the same audience, and the same spend, and just change the content, it'll still be applicable to generate seller leads. I hope that answers the question.
There was also one, can you give us an example of how to evaluate the metrics on the ad, so they know it's performing healthily, like the click-through rate and the uplift and this kind of thing?
I don't have a screen. That's a bit more detailed, and I don't have a good screenshot. Because that's technical, I would want to be able to walk you through it in the interface. I don't have that prepared, but that's definitely something that we can cover in another webinar.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I think, like you say, there's maybe one or two things you can look out for, but on the whole, it's something that needs to be explored a little bit.
Yeah, I think optimization in general is like a really long topic. So it's great that you are interested in optimization. That's exactly where I want your head to be at, whoever asked that question. But that is a really large topic, and I would want to prepare something to really walk you through it in a structured, detailed way. So we will take that input, and I might be able to create another presentation about ad optimization.
Yeah, and indeed, if the system allows, so if people would like to stay online slightly, I'll try and answer the questions in the Q&A area as best I can, so you can go away and actually try these things as well. If it's possible for us to do that, I don't know. Otherwise, I'll just export the questions and answer them individually.
Are there any? But we do have a few extra minutes, so
okay,
we can try to answer some of those questions now. I think we have around 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
One, I think, because I think this question comes up a lot, and it's interesting to know. Someone was saying, how important are hashtags on Instagram? It's not necessarily what we're talking about now, but I think as we're talking about social media, it's something that people need to maybe hear about. They're overlooked often. Yeah,
totally. Thanks for that question, whoever asked that. Hashtags are really important, especially when it comes to Instagram. I wasn't really using hashtags in the beginning when I started using my Instagram account for business, not just as a personal blog. And I noticed that my reach for my posts was not incredibly high. When I started using the appropriate hashtags based on the audiences that I wanted to reach, I saw my organic reach go up significantly. When it comes to hashtag, so yes, hashtags are important. Second part of the question, how can you know which hashtag strategy to use? My recommendation would be include some hashtags that have a wider reach. So, for example, hashtag real estate, hashtag the city you're living in, hashtag, for me, it would be hashtag entrepreneur. These are kind of, I know you're going to get like 1 million people following this hashtag, right? Or have used this hashtag before. So then you want to include some hashtags that are maybe a little bit narrower in terms of their reach. So like 100,000 people have used this hashtag. And then if you want to get really specific, because you're targeting a specific neighborhood, you can include a few hashtags that are much more targeted. If you take this approach with most of your posts, you're going to be covering all of your bases.
Yeah, I totally agree. Great answer. And another question that's come up quite a lot, which I think would be good to answer, is there are some people whose leads come primarily from abroad. I know places in Portugal and the Algarve will know what I'm talking about here. They say, how can you target leads from somewhere that is not your current location? Because you were talking a lot about using your local population as a leads resource. So how might you target?
Okay, so if you're trying to target a different area other than the area you're living in, it's really simple. Just change the location settings. So let's say For example, you have a house in Algarve and you want to market that property to people living in Hamburg. Then you would just change the location setting to Hamburg. And then you would be targeting all the people located in that area. Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm succinctly putting it into, because about 5 people asked this question. So
okay, yeah, no, I mean it's a really good question, and it has a really simple answer. Just change the location. If you're not interested in targeting people located near you, which could be the case if you're looking, for example, to work with international buyers, then just change the location setting to people located in the area you're trying to reach.
There's also a few people asking if they have an advert for a house for a listing, and then for 60 days, the campaign's run for 60 days, and then, for example, it's sold after 30 days. Is it possible to take the campaign offline? What happens to the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
For Instagram, absolutely. You can cancel it anytime.
I also know on this point that we had to, because of COVID-19, we had to stop an advertising campaign for one of our events, and Facebook were very good about it, and they actually shifted the budget over to another campaign, which is, or you can have the choice to just cash out, get a refund. But we decided to move it to another campaign.
Perfect. So the answer is yes, you can do it on Instagram and Facebook. They don't want you to spend your money where it's not going to be having impact either, because that's a lose-lose for everybody.
We also had some questions asking for specific examples of targeted campaigns. Now, I actually, for another project, I actually created a couple of these, which I have screenshots for. I don't know if we can actually show these, and that might be an idea, or we can attach them to the send out with the presentation later, if that's simpler.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't know what they look like. But what was the question?
The questions were just asking, is it possible to receive examples of specific local campaigns to see what one might look like? And I actually set up a few of these and have screenshots.
Sure, yeah. If you have those available to share, I'm sure people would be interested in seeing them, and we can definitely send them out afterwards. But again, like I was saying, in this presentation, which you're going to be receiving, the same, if you're just interested in seeing how it should be set up, the same technique and strategy will be used for all of your posts. If you're more interested in seeing how certain posts perform when compared to other posts, then yeah, exactly what Will was saying. If you actually are interested in that, then we would need to go a little bit deeper, and it sounds like he has some great examples to share. So thanks, Will.
Not a problem. I'm happy to send them out. And like Hayley was saying about the audience size, the audience definition, it can be really fun. There's a lot of great tools in there. Somebody was asking a follow-up question saying, so should I start targeting audiences to say if they need a bigger house, if they're pregnant, or if they've started a new job, maybe they're on a new pay scale? Absolutely. And Facebook actually has some really cool features and life events in the audience thing. So there's a drop down that says, I've just started university, I've just bought a new car, or something, or I've just come back off holiday, or whatever. You know, I'm engaged since 2 weeks, engaged since a month, and you can really have some fun and get some really good results.
Thank you for pointing that out. The point of my presentation was 2 simple social media ads, but as Will is saying, Facebook has tons of additional ways that you can get even more targeted when it comes to your demographics, when it comes to life events, as Will was saying. So once you start with the basics, please test things out, see what works, and yeah, you can use Facebook, the Facebook Ads Manager interface in a lot of different ways.
It seems like the people we have on the webinar today are pretty motivated. They want to take it even further.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe we need to create an advanced session for Facebook ad optimization.
Absolutely. Go for it. Okay, I'll be available also online just now to answer some more of these Q&As. A lot of them are very specific, and I don't feel fit the topic for today. They're just general social media questions. So I'll just sit back for now and answer these questions.
Perfect. Oh, I see someone just boosted their website on an Instagram ad. That's amazing. That's exactly the attitude I was hoping everybody would take, and I was hoping by the end of my presentation you would feel empowered to get out there and start doing it. And so it's really fantastic to see that you guys are, and that you're taking what I've said into action. As I said, go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly again. If you want to have more information about Level Up webinars that are coming in the following weeks, follow us on social media. We are also posting content that is specifically targeted to what you need now during COVID-19. Next week on Wednesday, I'm going to be hosting a webinar where I'm going to be talking about how you can close during COVID. So yes, it is possible to close a transaction and do a transaction virtually during COVID. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. And in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be talking about all things social media related. Jesse Peters, who we had on Monday, he's also talking about everything when it comes to video and how to use video in your social media strategy. So please check in on these Level Up webinars. It's been fantastic talking to you guys today. Thank you so much for joining, and yeah, hope you guys have a great evening, afternoon, morning, night, wherever you're joining in from, and I will see you next time on Level Up in 6